5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Peace. Today we're going to do a simple analysis of something I find quite interesting. Is L Ron Hubbard. He is the founder of a religion called Scientology. Now, there's been some much speculation about Scientology, what it is and what it does, its value, but you cannot understand Scientology unless you understand the history of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, Lafayette Ron Hubbard. Alright? This man is a mystery inside a riddle wrapped up in an enigma. As they say. So Ron Hubbard, all this is Wikipedia, right? He's born in Tilden, Nebraska in 1911, died 1986 in California. Check it out. So he wrote a famous book called Dianetics, which is supposed to be the key to unlocking the mind. It's supposed to help you be able to heal yourself, using your thoughts to heal yourself. It's supposed to help you deal with unrealized or unaddressed traumas in your past. Right? It's supposed to help you learn to be a better you. Alright? It also surmises that that every person is inhabited by different beings. The main being, the most prominent being is called a Thetan, which is supposed to have been around. This is a being that possesses your body, and accessing your Thetan training will help you heal yourself of illness, blindness, cancer, all these things like that. Alright, so Dianetics is this modern science of mental health. Alright, so what you have to understand, Ron Hubbard did not create himself. He is the result of the times that he was in. Alright, so Ron Hubbard wrote Dianetics, I believe, in 1950. Oh, yeah, in 1950 he came out with Dianetics. But before that, what was he? He was a blowhard, loudmouth wannabe. That's pretty much what he was. Alright, he grew up in a town where he was always talking about himself, about how great he was, the great things he was going to do. He was an avid writer. His father was in the Navy, so he traveled the world at a very young age. Alright, to a different, especially in Asia and Southeast Asia, he moved around. And in his teenage years, he lived in Southeast Asia for some time. He joined the Navy himself. And during World War II, he came into, I'm not sure if he was in, I don't know, he says he was in naval intelligence. But it's kind of speculative right now whether he was in ONI, which is Operation Naval Intelligence, or he just did some naval intelligence gathering for whatever section he was in. You see, it's two different things. ONI is the precursor to the CIA in a lot of ways. Alright, the CIA, the Office of Naval Intelligence, is one of the oldest military intelligence groups in the United States of America, ONI. But Ron, I ain't really figured that one out yet. Suffice to say, he started writing at a very young. He wrote fiction at a very young age, and his fiction led him to meet all types of people all throughout the country, really. Alright, he was into that, young, that fiction of the 1920s and 30s, young white man's burden, I'm come to civilize the savages in Asia. He did all that bullshit. That's what he was writing. Alright? Until he hooked up with somebody and learned about the science fiction writing. Alright? But to understand the origins of Dianetics, you have to understand who he was dealing with at the time. You don't understand L Ron Hubbard unless you understand Aleister Crowley. You don't understand L Ron Hubbard unless you understand Jack Parsons, who was the one who was the connect. He was the plug. He was the plug between Aleister Crowley and L Ron Hubbard. All right, Jack Parsons. He was a science fiction buff, and that's how he met L Ron Hubbard. All right, he was a science fiction buff, and that's how he met L Ron Hubbard. All right. Aleister Crowley is the founder. You have to one thing about L Ron Hubbard, he always said, in order to get rich, you're going to have to make a religion. That's what he used to say all the time. In order to get rich, you're going to have to make a religion. All right. Now, that goes back to Aleister Crowley, who actually was the founder of quote unquote a religion. All right. He was known as the wickedest man on earth. If you go to my Telegram channel, you can get some information on him that I have up there. All right. Go to my Telegram channel. It's right here. All right. I got mad 25,000 year cycle on Telegram. I got mad jewels up here that you should be snapping up. Go to my Telegram channel. All right. Up in here is where the life is at. Videos, books, everything, information, all documents, everything is up here on my Telegram channel. Check it out. 25,000 year cycle on Telegram. Just look it up. But this man, born in 1875, was known as the wickedest man on earth. He was an occultist, a magician, poet, painter, mountaineer, sodomite, right? Whatever you want to call him, he did all of that stuff. All right. He founded the Ordo Tempi Orientis. All right, order of the Orient. What Aleister Crowley was trying to study was ancient philosophies and ways of the Aboriginal people. Let's keep it real. That's what he was trying to uncover. In fact, that was a whole phenomenon during this time, the Victorian era. All right, because I think he started off with the Golden Dawn, I believe it was, another group called the Golden Dawn that he was a part of. Yeah, Hermetic. There were a lot of orders coming up. A lot of secret societies were popping up left and right. All right. So what Aleister Crowley did, he wanted to study Egypt, Asia. I don't think he went to Africa, but he went to he went to Africa as far as Egypt, but he didn't go into the south of Egypt for African occult studies that I know of. But he lived in Cairo for a minute. All right. So what he wanted, his concept of the Lima, which was the religion he started, the Lima stands for will. The Lima represents the ultimate will. All right. His first book was called the Book of the Law. All right. The motto of the Lima is, "Do as thou wilt will be the whole of the law." Do as thou wilt will be the whole of the law. And if you see some pictures of Jay-Z, he used to wear a t-shirt that said, "Do as thou wilt." All right. See, because he not only studied Kemet and the Buddhists and the Hindus and the other ancient Orient, or quote unquote Oriental religion, he studied Kabbalah. All right. So when he was talking about "do as thou wilt," he was talking about the concept of the will being the supreme manifestation of yourself. The will. And in order to strengthen the will, he had all types of different magic. He was doing sex magic, all type of stuff to try to draw these quote unquote energies to enhance himself and make you more in tune with the higher orders of things. All right. But one of his students was a Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons was one of the founders of the whole concept of the whole industry of jet propulsion and rocketry in the United States of America. He could damn near be said to be one of the founders of NASA. All right. He was an occultist, practiced sex magic, all right, drug addict. All right. The boy was a trip, but he was the connect for my man L Ron Hubbard. Him and L Ron Hubbard lived together in California. After L Ron got out of the military, he didn't go home. He went straight to California to hook up with Jack Parsons. Of course, while he was on leave, he learned about what's called the Agape Lodge. And Jack Parsons, he bet, like I said, at one of these book conventions they used to have. Alright? So this new religious movement, Thelema, had a lodge in California called the Agape Lodge. Alright? They ultimately was run by Jack Parsons. Alright? So Jack Parsons became the head of the lodge, and he wanted to bring forth or summon the woman of scarlet, or make what Aleister Crowley called a moon baby. Alright, this was someone who was going to be, they represented the new age coming in and blah 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 blah. Alright? But anyway, in order to get these damn Babylon, they called her. Babylon, they called her. Babylon. But in order to get all this going, he had to go through a series of rituals. And his partner in bringing this moon baby, or bringing Babylon, this demon, into existence, was none other than L Ron Hubbard. It was called Babylon Working. Alright? This is all in freaking Wikipedia, bro. A series of magic ceremonies and rituals performed from January to March 1946 by occultist Jack Parsons and Scientologist founder L Ron Hubbard. This was essentially designed to manifest an individual incarnation of the archetypical divine feminine called Babylon, based on the ideals of Aleister Crowley. Alright? This is a sanitized version of bringing in the moon child. So, during all of this, your boy, the founder of Scientology, my man, your man, L Ron Hubbard, situated himself in with the Agape Lodge, came under the confidence of Jack Parsons, studied under Jack Parsons, alright, stole Jack Parsons' wife, stole Jack Parsons' money, because, you know, do as thou will shall be the whole of the law. And so Jack Parsons noticed Aleister Crowley noticed in Ron Hubbard that he was a man of will. Let's get back to let's study this. Scientology is a mixture of low-level hypnosis and basic psychoanalysis. You have to understand psychoanalysis jumped off under Freud, but by the 1940s and 50s it was all over the place. Alright? So the psychiatrists have been taking over, psychoanalysts had taken over the field of psychology and invented the whole field of psychology, basically. Alright? So Ron took a little bit of that and some hypnotism, because hypnotism was also big right back then also. He studied a couple of those and combined them along with his what? Science fiction to come up with Scientology. That's why Scientology talks about you have other lives from billions of years ago, and the Thetans, which are an alien race that possesses your body, and there's another alien race. I can't remember them right now, and that's why all that shit is in Scientology. Alright? It's science fiction mixed with some modern psychoanalysis, well, modern for that time psychoanalysis, and some minor hypnotism. Putting those things together, he was able to create Dianetics and ultimately create the religion they call Scientology today. All right. L Ron Hubbard was a nasty piece of work, yo. L Ron Hubbard was a nasty piece of work. L Ron Hubbard knew what he was doing. He knew what he designed Scientology for as an opportunity for him to make money off a bunch of suckers. Let's keep it real. That's what he saw it as. And he had total disdain for his followers. He had total disdain for black people. He said black folks were so dumb they didn't even register on the E-meter. The E-meter is the thing they use to measure your reactions. I mean, if you look at Delima, you look at Scientology, a lot of the principles of Delima for Aleister Crowley are right in Scientology, as well as Catholicism. It's funny because one of the offshoots of Delima was something called the Brotherhood, and they were really more Catholicist than anything. That's why you have the ordering. The ordering ain't nothing but confession. The ordering is nothing but confession, wrapped up with a few words of a hypnotherapy. That's all it is. To make you relax and bring forth the information that you want. That's all it is. Low-level hypnosis mixed up with some Catholicism called I forgot, confession, along with some goddamn science fiction books talking about ancient races and history and stuff like that. That's all it is. It's a mishmash. All right. The reason it was so successful, Dianex was so successful in 1950, is because it was accessible. Psychoanalysis was inaccessible at that time. Though people knew about psychology, it was inaccessible. Ron, in his brilliance, took these principles and made them able for anybody to get and learn about them for like $10. They ordered a book, and they can learn these principles of psychotherapy and understanding of the human mind. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. And with his understanding of Aleister Crowley and working with Jack Parsons, he understood how to put ritual inside of an organization to stir the people. You have to stir people spiritually to control them. You have to stir their spirits to control them. And so the ritual and the religion of Scientology, uses psychotherapy, hypnosis, and confession to bring you together. It's deep. It's deep. I said I wasn't really paying attention to this. Everybody was talking about Scientology. And I was watching it, I was like, I don't really give a fuck about Scientology, to tell the truth. But once I started reading about it and reading about Ron, I'm like, bro, you believe anything this dude say? This dude's crazy. This dude is crazy. He's a psychopath. L Ron Hubbard was a psychopath, yo. L Ron Hubbard stole his boy's wife and his boy's money. And didn't tell his wife he stole that he already had another wife at the same time. And a son at the same time. Alright? And disowned his own child by his second wife, Betty. Bro, you know the guys you're talking with. You don't know the guys you're taking advice from. Why would I take anything that this guy has to offer? Just knowing about the Babylon working and his connection with Crowley and Jack Parsons should give you enough information to make you say, hold up, wait a minute. And there's more to this. This is just a brief. I'm just using Wikipedia, bro. There's so much more to this. You know how much information is on L Ron? You know how much I've read on this dude? Do you know about the Sea Org? You know what the things they've been doing on the wild? Fam. It's beautifully interesting and intriguing, though. I gotta give him props. It was a masterpiece. Peace.